If you've been with me through the other segments, we are going to talk about the great wines, the white wines of Burgundy, and some really cool value wines in different villages from the Côte de Beaune. So this is the map of Burgundy. We have Chablis up here, northernmost village in Burgundy that is very famous for very crisp and clean Chardonnays. Fantastic. They do what is called Premier Cru, Grand Cru, and Village wines. These are salinity, sea spray are some of the qualities. You get this oyster shell, lots of green apple. You can get yellow fruits in this. These wines are amazing. They're going to be very crisp and clean and super fun. And then if you come over here to Dijon, that is the major area here, most northern town you'll see. And this is the Côte d'Or, which means the golden slope. So you have two different areas. You have the Côte de Nuit, which is up here, which is where the major red wine areas are grown. And then you go down here to Côte de Beaune, and that's your major amazing world famous white wines. You're going to be in this area as well. And then you go down to an area called the Côte Chalonnaise. And then we do a lot of things from Montenay because it's a great value. And then we go down to the Cochons, which we have a couple wines of Pouilly-Fuissé, and that gets a little confusing. So Pouilly-Fuissé is for Chardonnay, Pouilly-Fumé is in the Loire Valley, and that is for Sauvignon Blanc. But Pouilly-Fuissé is actually in the Cochons area. And then we also have like the Cochons de Lages, we do Albert Bichot. So the Chardonnay here is going to be a little bit warmer, so you get a little bit more fruit, warmer fruits on that. And then also in this area, it's got a lot of minerality. But these two areas, the Côte de Chalonnaise and then the Maconnais, that's going to be your value Chardonnay. And then underneath the Maconnais area, then you're going to have this area right here, and this is Beaujolais. So Beaujolais is going to be, the grape is Gamay. So you can have, like, they do a Beaujolais Nouveau, and that's something that you would drink super early. They release it in November. And then you also have crus. There are 10 different crus, and they are all in this area here. And yes, if you take a sommelier test, you better know those from north to south. I'm not going to sit here and do all of it, but you are in that area. And yes, if you do all of this, you have to know all the villages from north to south, but it's pretty cool. But we're just going to go over, we're going to stop getting geeky and just kind of go over the Côte de Beaune area for you all. Oh, sorry about that. You got to get my notes out to make sure I don't miss anything because it's super important. So we have a few red villages I kind of like to talk about. So there are Volnay, Pommard, and Santenay are the main villages that are red wines that we want to talk about. So those are value wines. Kind of reminds me of like Burgundy and Oregon kind of combined, and it's really, really cool. And you know, if you drink a lot of Oregon wines, you'll see some similarities. It's a little more fruit driven, really pretty, kind of drink now, a lot of those wines versus like the Côte de Nuit, softer, very nice. We actually have a wine. This is one of my favorite wines right now. For the money, you cannot beat it. This is Vincent and Sophie Moret, and this is actually out of Santenay, and this is a Premier Cru. You'll see the one in the ER on it, and it's Les Gravières, and that is fantastic. Now, both of these, the families that have this winery, they are actually winemakers, wine growers. They are in Santenay and Chassagne-Montrachet. The soil here is going to be clay and limestone, and it borders, you can actually, on the slope there, you can actually see the road to Chassagne-Montrachet, 725 feet in latitude, planted in 1999. It is 100% in barrel, it's like 50% new. You can age these wines 5 to 10 years plus, and you're going to get fresh black cherry in this wine. There's also some hints of strawberry, and there's lots of mushrooms, cedar vanilla, cinnamon, and it's like got kind of like a smoked meat quality to it, kind of in the aromas. It's gorgeous. It's great. Everybody that has this wine is just stunned by it. All of our guests are like, oh my gosh, I've had people that are like, I just want cases of that. It's really amazing. We don't have very much right now in stock due to everything that's going on, but if you want to try this wine, we can check with a distributor, or we can check and see what kind of wines that we can find very similar to this. And this comes from an importer called Vineyard Brands as well. So this is amazing juice, and I just wanted to show you one of the cool wines in Santenay. Santenay, this actually sits near river, and Les Gravières means land with cover, which I don't know if you really want to know that, but it's amazing juice, and that comes out of Côte de Beaune. So these wines produce, I mean, the area in Côte de Beaune, you can have some really, really cool Pinot Noir from there. So I just wanted to showcase that. Also, what we have, we'll kind of talk about this, is we have a little wine. This is Bachelet Monod. This is Chassagne-Montrachet. This is great. Chassagne-Montrachet is a village like Hot Springs, and this is located in Côte de Beaune, just like Santenay is a village. And this is one of the great, most famous white wine regions. This is one of the most, well, Burgundy is. Chassagne-Montrachet is one of the most famous villages for Chardonnay in the entire world. And this is actually a village wine, but you can get Premier Crus, Grand Crus. The best come from Chassagne and Puligny-Montrachet. We also have a village called Meursault. Meursault does not have any Grand Crus, but they have a lot of Premier Crus. So that's super important as well, and we will get into that. But I wanted to show you those wines, and I have some notes here on Côte de Beaune as well. I got to get those out because I don't want to mess anything up. But you know, the soil here is going to be limestone. And when you look at Chassagne-Montrachet and Puligny-Montrachet, they have several different Grand Crus there. And these wines are absolutely wonderful. They have more of the butterscotch aromas. And, you know, to me, Puligny-Montrachet has more toast on the wines than, let's say, a lot of the Chassagne-Montrachets. But I think the elegance in a Chassagne-Montrachet is outstanding, and Puligny, same thing. If you like a buttery style California Chardonnay, you should definitely try these wines. These wines are going to have a little bit more, a lot more acidity because it is a cooler climate, but these are wonderful for food. And these are the best white wines, best Chardonnays in the world. I definitely think that hands down. They're food, very food friendly. They can age for a very long period of time. If you want to do Meursault, that's a village as well, and they have that same style. So that kind of buttery, butterscotch type of quality. But those are the three most famous Chardonnay villages that you will find in the Côte de Beaune. And all of those villages have Premier Crus, and like I said, Meursault doesn't have Grand Crus, but it does have Premier Cru. So if you want a buttery Chardonnay and you want to go to France and see what really started, you know, what really started Chardonnay to be the grape that everybody wanted to produce in the world, you definitely need to check this out if you like that buttery style. If you don't like the buttery style and you want, you know, the butterscotch kind of notes to it, and you want to do clean and crisp, I would definitely say start with a Chablis. Or if you want a super good value wine, and Chablis can be value, you know, but Macon Villages is super great value. And remember, that's in the southern part of France. I'm kind of show you on the map, if I can show you anything. And it's really cool, like I said, if you follow along with the map, these are Jancis Robinson maps. But you will see in this area exactly where everything is. Like Chassagne-Montrachet and Puligny-Montrachet are here. You also have like Meursault there. And it's just a really nice map, so you can actually see everything. You can see the town of Beaune here. But it's really, really cool. I just love this map. And what's really nice too is you can see where you have the Chablis, You go over to Dijon, and we talked about how you do the slope, and mostly limestone here and other soils, but predominantly limestone. You go down the Cochons, you go down to the Macanois, and then you go down to Beaujolais, and then you see Lyon. So Lyon is a big famous city that everybody should go there, like at least once. Paul Bocuse has his famous restaurant there, which we've been there, and it was really cool, and we got to actually see him. He came to the table and took a picture with us, which was awesome. My husband was super happy about that. And then after you go from Lyon, so this gets into the Rhone department already down here, and then Rhone Valley starts here. So that's how close everything is there. So I hope that you learned a little bit about Burgundy. It can get really, really difficult, but the major things you just need to realize is the main two grapes are Chardonnay and Pinot Noir, so that's already going to help you out. And if you need some assistance, just make sure that you come here to a really great small restaurant that has somebody who has a wine education or who is a sommelier, or go to a small wine shop to find out about Burgundy. It's just great juice, great wine. You know, you can get values, and then you can get super duper expensive wines, and it's a lot of fun. But I hope that that gave you a little insight to Burgundy, like a teeny bit. It does get more complicated, but let's keep it cool and keep wine simple and not be a snob. Let's just make it fun. So hope you enjoyed it, and drink some Burgundy. Cool. Thanks.